Hello everyone, the Green Scorpion here with a subject that is oftentimes looked upon with hatred. Water levels. Practically every gamer knows that water levels, more often than not, suck. The main complaint people have with water levels is either it throws off the pace of the game or controls are altered in a way that greatly restricts the player. However, what about the water levels that are actually good? These cases are rare. But there have been a few games where the water levels are actually done very well to the point where it could be considered the best part of the game. It wasn't easy, but now I will be presenting the top 10 greatest water levels. Same rules apply, only games I've played and only one per franchise. Alright, let's get started. Jolly Roger's Lagoon is a water level that doubles up as a seaside town hub and an underwater adventure. The town itself is both helpful with its shops and informative townsfolk, and beautiful with its bright ambience and detailed scenery. Also, this town is freaking hilarious. Why? Let's just say that Jolly's isn't just a bar, if you know what I mean. As for the underwater areas, the scenery is stunning and the maze-like structure makes for some vast exploration. Banjo himself controls rather decently too. The swimming isn't too gimmicky and the controls for submarine Banjo are surprisingly smooth and easy to get used to, so it overall makes for a good gameplay experience. Though the good outweighs the bad, it is only number 10 because it isn't always clear on where the player has to go next, and the controls to aim and fire projectiles could really use some tweaking. That was the main problem when dealing with Lord Wu Fak Fak in Davy Jones' locker. God, this boss was annoying. Down the Tubes from Earthworm Jim is an example of a water level where you don't need to get wet. Instead, you're navigating through an underwater pipe maze fighting mad dogs, farting ball things, and Bob the Killer Goldfish. Yeah, Earthworm Jim has some weird enemies to say the least. That aside, this is actually pretty good for a water level. Earthworm Jim controls as normal with the exception of the submarine sections. Here, you have to propel a glass submarine to get to the next series of pipes. Even the controls for that are very simple and you can't fault the game if you screw up. The level itself looks pretty cool as well with a surprisingly detailed background. There isn't really anything bad I can say about this level, but while it is good, there isn't really anything too spectacular about it. Even so, this level certainly gets the job done, and takes the number 9 spot on my list. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I actually didn't grow up with them, but looking back at the original TV series, I wish I had. The Turtles have had their fair share of games with surprisingly few water levels. If you guys think I'm picking the damn level, you're nuts. No. The level from the Turtles franchise that gets my vote is Sewer Surfin from Turtles in Time. As I said before, one of the usual complaints about water levels is that it kills the pace of the game. This level, however, didn't do that at all. It kept the classic fast-paced beat-em-up feel by having the turtles surf through the sewers at high speeds while taking down enemies and avoiding traps. That's pretty awesome. This level also scores points for music. The fast-paced beat and the fanfare-like melody makes it one of the best songs in the game. I will say that it is low on the list mainly because there isn't much to this level, but it certainly gets the job done. Cowabunga indeed. Metroid Fusion was a particularly scary game. Throughout the whole game, you were always put in a position where something just doesn't feel right. The game takes place in a busted-up research station that is split into 6 sectors, each with a different theme. One of them being Sector 4, the Aqua Sector. The first time you were in Sector 4, it has already sustained some damage, causing water to flood several areas and causing broken power lines to electrocute the water. Later on, you are forced to travel around a completely flooded area, and this is where the game gets eerie. In the early stages of the game, Samus's movements are restricted in the water, but the main reason that this level isn't a total pain is because you are allowed to move in the water as you would on dry land after getting back the gravity feature in your suit from Nightmare. This completely eliminates the control problem and keeps the game going at the usual pace, so it makes for a very decent water level. The only complaint I have about this level is that after you escape from the restricted zone, you have to travel through Sector 4 and find a way out, and the maze-like structure and hidden paths makes for some frustration. Still, this level is certainly unique because of the unsettling mood it presents with its eerie design and music, and makes my list as number 7. I'm going to start this one by asking one question. Whatever happened to Vector Man? You know, that Sega Genesis shoot-'em-up game that was awesome, but has never made another game after its sequel? Yeah, needless to say, I miss this game. It was classic 2D platforming shoot-'em-up goodness that was actually very similar to Contra. The first Vector Man had a lot of theme-based levels, Tidal Surge being one of them. As the name implies, this is a level that is flooded with water and you have to navigate through it while taking out enemies, destroying monitors, and collecting protons. Vector Man controls sort of like Sonic does in regards to the 2D platforming, so his movements are altered when he's underwater. However, it isn't annoying since Vector Man can shoot his enemies from afar anyway, and he can actually swim. This level certainly does a good job of incorporating the water theme while still keeping the futuristic style that made Vector Man great. Also, the ocean theme that plays in this level is among the best in the game. Now, before we move on, I just want to say something. Sega, bring back Vector Man. Please! I think it's safe to say that the water temples from the Legend of Zelda franchise drive most gamers to pure, utter rage. The Water Temple from Ocarina of Time and the Great Bay Temple from Majora's Mask are two of the most infamous water-based levels in Zelda history. Even the Lake Bed Temple was no pleasant experience either. What about Skyward Sword? All I can say is that it's about time they got it right. The Ancient Cistern from Skyward Sword is easily the best water temple of the Zelda franchise. This is mainly because here, Link can swim normally. No gimmicky iron boot switching. Also, the temple made for some very interesting puzzle solving, especially with the whip, which you obtain in this temple. The Ancient Cistern is also interesting for providing a sort of spooky vibe with the catacombs located under the temple, and the temple's interior is very beautiful. I might as well also take this time to mention that I think the best boss in the game comes from this dungeon, Kalaktos. Perhaps I'll explain why sometime later, but I'd put him in between the Gyork pair and Twin Rova on my top 15 Legend of Zelda bosses list. Call him a 3.5, I guess. The Legend of Zelda has tried a lot of things to make a good water temple, and I think they certainly have a winner here. I don't understand the negative reactions to Kirby's Epic Yarn. I thought it was an awesome game, and certainly one of the cutest games I've ever played. I guess gamers didn't like that Kirby couldn't copy abilities as usual. Well, Nintendo was just trying something new, and you know what? It worked. Also, I keep hearing that this game is way too easy because Kirby couldn't die. Maybe so, but I dare you to get 100% on this game and then tell me it was easy. Anyway, back on topic, this game had several theme-based levels, one of which is simply titled Waterland. Water levels in the Kirby franchise aren't as frustrating as in some other franchises, but they aren't really enjoyable for the most part either. Kirby's Epic Yarn took a different approach by having Kirby morph into a mini submarine to navigate within the water, which actually made for some pretty smooth water controls. There are also certain places where Kirby will morph into a dolphin and dash through the water at high speeds. The sharpness of the controls during those sections does take some getting used to, but it isn't excruciating. On the aesthetic side, the yarn designs on the scenery make for a truly gorgeous water level design, and the music is very charming. Waterland in general was designed very well both in the technical and artistic perspective, making it one of the best water levels to date. The Mario franchise has been consistent with its water levels. All of the 3D Mario platformers have had water levels that are really decent, if not remarkable. Super Mario 64 introduced Mario's efficient swimming controls that would become a staple for future water levels, and Super Mario Sunshine took it to a new level with some fun underwater challenges and absolutely breathtaking level design. However, if we spring forward some more, we come to Super Mario Galaxy 2, which gives us Cosmic Cove Galaxy. Cosmic Cove Galaxy is actually a favorite among gamers, and with good reason. First of all, Mario controls very smoothly in the water, much like the previous games, and the Koopa shell only makes things easier. The bubbles spread out through the level also eliminate the drowning issue. This level in particular also provides some fun puzzles and missions, especially since you can also freeze the entire level to explore other places. This is also a very entrancing level because the music is very smooth and relaxing, and the aesthetic appeal of the level is really beautiful. Beauty seems to be a trend with water levels, huh? Well, Cosmic Cove Galaxy certainly gave gamers a great experience, and now takes the number 3 spot. Here is an example where simplicity can make all the difference. To this day, Coral Capers from Donkey Kong Country is recognized as being one of the greatest water levels in video game history, and it's no different in my case. What made this level great is the fact that the controls for the level are kept simple, so messing up on it really fell against the player and not the controls. Not to mention, being able to use On Guard made this level pretty easy since he controlled very smoothly and he plowed through enemies like they were Goombas. This level is near perfect with its controls, and even though Donkey Kong is an ape, he seems to be fine being underwater for a significant amount of time. I'm not gonna question it and just move on. Lastly, the level design is very aesthetically appealing, and the music is very soothing and fits the mood of this level perfectly. Donkey Kong gave us a water level from the earlier generation of video games that really surprised gamers with how amazing it was, and to this day, only one water level has come to surpass it. I will guarantee that you guys are going to be very surprised with number 1, but before we get to that, let's recap. Number 10, Jolly Roger Lagoon. Number 9, Down the Tubes. Number 8, Sewer Surfin. Number 7, Sector 4. Number 6, Tidal Surge. Number 5, The Ancient Cistern. Number 4, Waterland. Number 3, Cosmic Cove Galaxy. And number 2, Coral Capers. The Sonic franchise is infamous for its water levels. Almost every Sonic water level in the franchise makes us want to pull our hair out, even to the point of rage quitting. Hydro City from Sonic 3 and the Aquatic Mine from Sonic Adventure 2 are just a couple of examples. And the Labyrinth Zone from the original Sonic the Hedgehog is infuriating! However, it took Sega and the Sonic team until 2010 to not only make a surprisingly good water level, but it was so great that it takes number 1 on my list. The Aquarium Park Zone from Sonic Colors. This is how you make a water level. First of all, this level actually has an interesting backstory to it, along with the rest of the levels in the game. As it turns out, Sonic Colors was based on Japanese history, and the Aquarium Park Zone, complete with Japanese architecture and samurai robots, is based on a historical Japanese city that actually existed. That's very interesting because you wouldn't expect references like that in a Sonic game of all things. As for the controls, Sonic actually controls very well. By using his boost, he can run on the surface of the water, and by using his double jump feature, he can actually swim. Sonic can actually swim! Finally! Anyway, along with that, this level utilizes the drill color, which allows Sonic to drill through the water much like he does underground in the earlier stages. This eliminates the drowning issue, and navigating through the water is cake with it. This is a level where Sonic actually gains some different abilities underwater rather than just become slow and clunky. Even the underwater boss fight was particularly enjoyable. As for aesthetics, this level is absolutely gorgeous. The detailed cityscape coupled with the high draw distance and the breathtaking underwater scenery is a sight to behold. This level along with the whole game, truly demonstrate the Wii's graphic capabilities. And the music. Awesome! In regards to a water level, the Aquarium Park Zone is the whole package. The level design is beautiful, the music is among the best in the game, the controls are smooth, the reference is interesting, and it certainly provides gamers with a decent challenge without being annoying. Without a doubt, Sega truly pulled off a miracle by giving us the #1 greatest water level in gaming history. I am the Green Scorpion, thanks for watching, until next time.